Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for the new subbies. Today's prophetic word is, God was telling me that a lot of us are trusting Him to fulfill certain promises, to answer certain prayers, but we don't realize that we are not ready. We are not ready. There are things that we still need to deal with. One of them is unforgiveness. You need to ask God when you see that, your prayers aren't being answered, or you know that God promised you something, but you're not seeing it come to pass. It's he didn't say no, and he's not saying no. He's saying that you need to guard your heart, and you need to actually search your heart to see what is hindering you. I know one of the things is unforgiveness. You need to check who you haven't forgiven, and you need to forgive those people. You need to let it go, and you need to ask God to also forgive them. There's just certain things that you need to deal with regarding your heart. He was just telling me regarding your heart, and also preparation for what's ahead. You also need to let the things of the wilderness stay in the wilderness. Anything familiar, anybody familiar, people from your past, they cannot come with you into this new season of your life. That is very important, because they might hinder you from receiving what the things that God has for you in your next chapter, in your promised land. So you must make sure that it doesn't matter how these people come back. These people come back. Some of them, they're gonna come back, promising you the world, thinking that they have changed. You might see those changes. Honestly, you might see them. You might see that this person has changed. Let's say it's your ex, or someone that you thought that they are your prodigal kingdom spouse, but actually God is saying in this new season He's doing a whole new thing. So everything is going to be new. Your environment is going to be new. The people around you are going to be new. So it's not people from your past. People from your past, you must just leave them in your past. Like, that's what I got from God. And also, as you go into your promised land, as you arrive there, do not serve other gods. Do not go back to your old ways. Do not go back to your idol worship. Do not go back to the things that God has delivered you from. Do not, absolutely not. Even though the people around you may be doing them, but the things that God has specifically told you, that this has been an idol in your life and you need to remove it. And if you go back, you are going to miss even the bigger promise that God had for you, because what's going to happen is that you're going to receive the promise or something that you have been praying for, but not knowing that there's something even bigger that God has for you. As long as you stay faithful, and as long as you and keep that posture of obeying God in that first prayer that has been answered, more is gonna come. But immediately, if you just start losing yourself, if you get comfortable, if you stop obeying God, if you stop doing the things that you were doing as you were waiting for this promise to come to pass, you are going to lose out on even more on what God had for you. So keep the right posture, keep the right heart posture. Allow God to just minister to you, and wait. There was something that I've been praying for, and I haven't been seeing it come to pass, and I've been asking God, Lord, what is it? Because I feel like I've really been in that season of just obeying you and doing everything that you have told me to do. But now God showed me that there was certain things in my life that I needed to deal with, deal with unforgiveness, deal with the fact that, I needed to recognize what were those idols in my life, things that I had made idols, and why God doesn't want me when I go into this, because they're going to be there. It's not like they're not going to be there. You're going to be around people. You're going to be around other people, new people, not only just born agains and, you're not just going to be around born agains, you're going to be around a lot of other people. So he wants you to be sure that you are rooted and you are rooted in him, because once you step into those places, there's going to be a lot of temptation. There's going to be familiar spirits. There's just going to be giants that you need to overcome. So you need to make sure that you are strong and that you have prepared yourself well, just like Daniel. When he was called to the king's palace, him and his friends decided that they were not going to eat from the king's table because they didn't want to defile themselves. The same way with us, when we get to the king's table, we need to make sure that we do not defile ourselves and we do not go back to our idols. We do not go back to the things that God had delivered us from. We need to keep that posture of knowing that there are bigger things that God has for us, bigger promise. The fact that you are at the table and he has set the table in the presence of your enemies, it doesn't mean that now you have a right to look down on other people as well. That was also something that God said we should be watchful of, to not be boastful when the blessings do come, to not be boastful, to not be petty, to not be prideful. We need to keep that humility. We need to be in a humble position. We need to keep that humbleness about us, and more will come, more, even things that we never ever expected. So I just want to encourage you to read Deuteronomy 12, and you can read the whole chapter. I'm not going to read it. You need to check yourself and you need to make sure that you remain humble throughout the whole process. Even when you reach your promised land, you must remember who your God is, and do not go and serve other gods. Do not lose yourself. Do not fall for temptation. You need to be rooted in the word. You need to make sure that you remain humble, and you also just make sure that you're ready. Do not rush the process, because you're gonna make it just in time. You're gonna make it just in time. You don't need to feel pressured. You don't need to feel anxious about anything. You are going to make it, and it's going to be at the right time, the time that God had set you to be, because he knows you. He knows what you need. He knows the things that you need before you get to your promised land. So just trust him and be encouraged that it's on its way. Whatever you are hoping God to fulfill, whatever you have been praying for, it's on its way. What also God showed me is, if we are not patient in the season, if you just want what you want, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss the things that God had for you. You are probably just going to get your foot in the door, but you are going to lose out on even the bigger things because you were rushing and you were not willing to wait. You were not willing to be refined, by the fire. Because now in the season where we need to be refined by the fire, and only the fire can refine and burn away the things that no longer serve us, the things of the wilderness, the unforgiveness, the disobedience, the rebelliousness, and only the fire of the Holy Spirit can do that right now when you are in your wilderness. So when you reach your promised land, you're going to be ready. You're going to even appreciate it more. You are going to be humble. You are not, when the blessings come, you're not going to be petty and boastful and prideful and start being a Saul in people's life. You're going to remember that God lifted you, and you're going to lift others as well, and you're going to do it in such in humility and in honor of God, so that God can receive the proper glory, and you will remember that you didn't put yourself there. God put you there, and you being in that position of being humble, you're going to be ready. You're going to just even receive double for all the things that you are currently going through. So be encouraged, child of God. God is on your side. God is on the way. Just remain faithful. Just remain in prayer. Just remain, humble, and humble yourself before the Lord, and he will lift you up. And know that God knows exactly the right timing for your blessing to come. So don't rush it. Don't be anxious. And always remember to keep the faith. And yeah, shalom.